Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome to the show. I am Brett the Jet in the booth with Turn 3 Racing Network, and tonight we have a good one here because it is race number 3 of the 802 Riptide Radio Next Gen Cup Series here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway. Some history has been written here many of times, but tonight we'll ride it once again for 200 laps here for these guys. And I tell you what, short track racing, the first short track on the schedule. I'm excited to see who will have the pace here tonight. Right now it looks like some pretty quick times we're seeing scrolling through the left side of the screen. I believe that 18:05 may have been with some assistance of maybe a wall or two, so we'll probably keep an eye on that 7 mark, as I believe that will be some of the times to beat here. So we'll keep an eye for those times when it comes down to about 3 minutes for qualifying here. And of course, during qualifying we will figure out who walks away with a little bit of money. That's right, these guys paying for the quick time here in the 802 Riptide Radio Next Gen Cup Series. And that sponsorship, of course, coming along with Leaf Guard of Vermont. So got to give a huge shout out to Leaf Guard coming on board with that. And a pretty cool thing that these drivers get to race for even before taking the green flag. Of course, last week the results look like the following. Jeff Pogo and the number 97 machine, he walks away with his first checkered flag of the season. So Pogo will try and go 2 for 2. Right now sits at the top of the board, but like I said, I think a little bit of some wall action as we'll try and get the 97 here up on screen. And there we see Pogo with definitely some right side damage here in practice, so I think that's a telltale sign of what he was trying there. But Pogo at Dover was very, very quick, one if not the car to beat, as we see him get the wall there on the backstretch. But that kind of fades, I should say, that fares well with short track racing, because Dover is a very fast, tight, technical track, as you'd see in a short track. So we'll have to see how Pogo can do here at North Wilkesboro. 200 laps, a long race. These drivers gonna have to take care of themselves and each other for a long time, because we will see door-to-door action. At first, I think the inside lane may have a slight advantage, but then once the tires start to wear, it's going to be very, very hard to pass down low. And well, I think see a lot of drivers defend from the top side. So that's at least a little bit of my race predictions here coming into tonight. But overall, 2 lanes here on either ends of the speedway, like 1 and 2. Kind of the high side's a little bit more preferred, a little bit more dominant, whereas 3 and 4, you want to wrap those left side tires right along that berm. So a lot these drivers have to navigate going down the backstretch. It feels like you're going downhill, and then on the front stretch it feels like you're driving uphill. So a very, very technical track here, and these drivers definitely going to have their hands full for a long time, because 200 laps sounds like a lot. It is a lot in the driver's seat, but 15-second lap times, these things will click on by for us watching. As practice wraps on up, we get ready for some qualifying, and who's going to walk away with that Leaf Guard Quick Time Award. As we will wait and see who will be the first car to roll off the pit lane for qualifying, as we jump on over to some live action qualifying. Who will be the first to roll? As we didn't talk about this driver too much last week, Eric Holly had himself a pretty quiet night, tried to keep to himself and finished just outside of the top 10, you know, was able to finish in that kind of big pack there towards the end of it. Ollie, of course, finishing last week in the 12th position, so looking to get a little bit better. It's big time sideways, and oh, we'll get a piece of the wall down the backstretch. We'll lock it on up, so not the lap Holly wanted there. As now we take a look at the 33 machine. This is Alex Smith. So right now, no driver has taken a lap as Smith on his first time lap. And I tell you what, I dig the car. My Detroit Lions, I'm a Lions fan, been so my whole life, and glad to see it represented on the 33 machine. But that lap, definitely not exactly what the 33 wanted. Looks like we'll be only good enough for a 19.37, so that'll put him P number 10 at the moment. Right now, quick time, Steve Ritter with an 18.86. As Smith will find a little bit of time, will slide back into the 10th position as the 62 machine goes quick time. Out of the Woods Crafts, Chevy Camaro here of Frank Zingen. He will put down a flying 18.82. That's going to be a very tough time to beat, as this guy had a lot of speed in practice as well. It's the number 4 car of Jim Ott. Ott right here on his first time lap, so we'll see what he can do. As Ott first lap in the books, good enough for P number 3 and 18.86. Got to find about half a tenth for lap number 2 to knock off the 62 at the top of your board. Ott off of turn number 4 for the final time. He had some pretty good rotation and good enough for quick time, an 18.74 from Jim Ott. Alrighty, a few cars left. One car we got to keep a look at was very quick in practice as well. It's the GStone number 21 machine of Rob Lowell. Lowell here through 3 and 4 on his first time lap. Off at turn number 4 to the stripe. 21 machine first time lap will be an 18.88. So we'll look for the same kind of speed increase as we saw Jim Ott. Ott was able to knock about a tenth off that time. So we'll see what Lowell can do off of turn number 4 for the final time. Gets a piece of the wall, so that will disallow this lap for Lowell, and that will keep him P number 4 at the 18.88. And I believe just one more car to take a lap. It'll be the 81 machine of Dan Dill. I believe actually Dill just running laps here trying to get a little bit more practice. So I believe just one car left not to qualify, and that will be the 42 machine of Dustin Coggin. As actually Dill was on a lap there. We'll clock in a 19.56 here tonight. So 23 of the 24 cars have taken a lap, and at the moment we are looking at this guy, the driver of the number 4 from Jackson, Michigan. It is Jim Ott. Jim Ott walking away with tonight's Leaf Guard Quick Time Award. As congrats to Jim, and we'll see if he can hold on to that number 1 spot by the time the checkered flag falls, because like I said, folks, a long race ahead of these drivers. 200 laps coming up here in just a moment. Alrighty folks, we are back here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway, and let's run through tonight's starting order for the Whiskey Shed 200 at North Wilkesboro Motor Speedway. Starting on the pole, we talked about this driver. He is the Auto's owner's number 4. It is Jim Opp, also walking away with the Leaf Guard Quick Time Award. The outside of the front row will be also occupied by the 62 Out of the Woods Crafts Chevy Camaro. It is the driver of the 62, Frank Zingen. Then row number 2 will be made up of the following. The number 16 Leaf Guard machine rolling off P number 3 will be Steve Ritter. And to his outside, the 21 GStone machine that is being piloted by Rob Lowell. Then rounding out the top 5, we'll go to the 93. That is Robert Dent. Then in P number 6 will be the 31 of Christian Delgado. Rolling off 7th will be the 28 machine. That is David Lomaga. 8th will go to Stephen Holmes in the number 90. 9th will go to last week's winner. It is the 97 of Jeff Pogo. Rounding out the top 10 will be the 8 car of Matt Taylor. Rolling off P number 11 will be Justin Branham in the 58. 12th going to the 6 car of Johnny Barker. 13th will be Chris Taylor in the number 69 machine. 14th going to Eric Holly in the number 7. Ariba Can in the number 30 will roll off 15th. 16th going to Cody Brewer in the 12. 17th starting position will go to the BG Graphics number 1 of Brandon Guerin. Eli Raposa in the number 46 will roll off 18th. 19th going to the Deuce. That is Nick Larson. Austin Smith in the 33 machine will roll off 20th. 21st is Jason Wiley in the number 13. 22nd going to Dan Dill in the 81. And then we have our final row being made up on the inside of that last row will be the 27 of Caleb Hatt. And then starting shotgun on the field tonight does make the call, so we will have 24 cars racing here. It is the 42 of Dustin Coggin. So that will do it here tonight for the starting lineup as we get ready to rock and roll and fire these drivers off for 200 laps here tonight at North Wilkesboro. So front row being made up of Ott and Zingen. We will see what kind of restart Jim Ott can get, because last week Ott had a decent amount of speed, was running up front for most of the race, then kind of got caught out in a different strategy, ended up only a 14th, so hoping to rebound a lot better here tonight. And so far, starting off on the perfect foot, leading the field to green flag. As the lights are extinguished around the North Wilkesboro Motor Speedway, we get ready to go green flag racing. Ott, Zingen making up the front row. Here we go. Jim Ott on the loud pedal, and we go green flag racing from North Wilkesboro Speedway. The field will dive down 2 by 2. Steve Ritter with a great start will quickly go up into second as everyone trying to single file out here, as man, Jeff Pogo locking up that left front there in that 97 machine, thinking about making it 3 wide there, as I think he had to get on the binders a little bit harder than he would have thought going into turn number 3, as that's what everyone's doing right now, kind of that little bit of dance as drivers try and figure out what kind of pace the other drivers around them are running. So Ott out in front, Ritter, Zingen making up your top 3. Looking at our first real battle out on track. This is for the 9th position here, as Johnny Barker in the number 6 Valvoline machine. A new scheme for him here tonight, kind of going to that 2D design, as we see quite a few drivers have on their cars. And of course, to the outside, that number 97 machine, last week's winner. Now Johnny Barker making that inside line work. to the inside of the 90 Motorcraft machine. That is Stephen Holmes now under fire from the 97. So Holmes here is sticking true to his pace. He says, you know what, guys, if you want to push it more than me, go right around, because I'll be catching you in another 50 laps or so, depending on if we do get those runs. I mean, we heard a lot of drivers talk about racecraft after last week, and how there needed to be a little bit more give and take, especially at the starts, and so far seeing a great start this one. Most drivers single filed on out, figuring out where they want to run, and so far first 7 have flown on by here tonight. We missed it, but about a lap or two ago, Steve Ritter gets around Jim Ott for the race lead, so Ritter definitely pushing his tires a little bit harder than the number 4. Ford's in big time tire saving mode about. Last time by quicker than our race leader. The time before definitely slower, so looks like Ott picking it back up, and now the gap for the race lead about a car length or so off of turn number 4. And don't look too far back, because this guy already trying to get the high side rocking and rolling. That is Rob Lowell. Lowell, of course, started in the 4th position, has quickly made his way up into the podium, and now putting heavy pressure on Jim Ott for 2nd. You can see Rob way up the racetrack, so usually we don't see drivers running that high this early in the race, but Rob says if everyone's running down low, heating up that inside line on this concrete, you know, I'll go to where the track is cool. That's exactly what he's doing, the very high line, but can get a good run off as long as that doesn't happen. A lot of wheel spin from the 21 machine, and you can see the pace that he loses is now Jim Ott will take over the race lead here on lap 12. So Ott reclaims the point. Him and Ritter only drivers so far to lead a lap here tonight, as the rest of the field quickly closing in from 2nd on back. So maybe already some drivers feeling some pain in the tires, as we are going to get racy here deep inside the top 10. Steve Ritter now under fire from Rob Lowell. Lowell will once again try and roll that high side. We saw him do that same move on Zingen and make it work. Trying to do the same on the number 16 Leaf Car machine. Lowell will drive it in there deep, let that car wash on up, and then able to jump on the loud pedal, and yeah, able to clear him for 2nd. Now we'll set his sights on the race leader of Jim Ott. Steve Ritter still has a very busy back bumper as we ride on board with him, and take a look and see the pressure that Steve is under. So you can hear the off throttle time once these tires get a little bit of wear in them, as Zinga was all over the back bumper of Ritter, but has since fallen on back to about 2 car lengths. As Ritter about 0.2 of a second slower than his best lap. And folks, it's only, 15 laps, well, coming up to 20 laps into this race. If we do, in fact, get some long green flag runs, these drivers are going to have to be very careful on these tires, because with the full fuel load, I think you could probably split this race in half. A little bit of contact here through 3 and 4 as Justin Branningham and Eric Holly get together there. Holly will be able to get clear, but Branningham will sail it in there deep, try and get to the right rear quarter panel. Can't quite do it with the longer distance around the racetrack. So biggest mover so far in this first 20 laps will go to the number 6, up into P number 6. That is Johnny Barker. So Barker has been a man on a mission trying to drive into the top 5 right now. He needs to get around one of those cars right there in front of him to do so. One driver may be saving his stuff, just making sure he hits his pace, is this body armor Barstool Sports number 1 machine. That is Brandon Guerin. Guerin, of course, stepping up hugely with this league, bringing on board with his graphic shop, BG Graphix, and able to help out the points fund for these drivers. Something else to race to, you know. They get the bragging rights of it, maybe a championship, now some money, and then of course, being on the Turn 3 Racing Network and getting a chat with me and put on a show as, whoa, almost some contact for the race lead as Rob Lowell will take over the point, but Jim Ott big time out of shape down the backstretch. So Lowell will once again make the high side work, so our third lead change of the night, our third different leader now is the GStone number 21 machine of Rob Lowell. Lowell was very quick here last season at North Wilkesboro. Definitely could be one of the favorites as we have already clicked off the first 25 laps of the 200. So like I said, folks, this race may seem long. It'll definitely feel long for these drivers in the car, but for us watching, if this race goes, I should say, have a lot of green flag runs, you know, we will see this race go by fairly quickly. As a battle for third on back, still kind of sits there in anticipation as, you know, these drivers just waiting for another driver to make a mistake. All these guys kind of basing their run on the cars around them. So a little bit further back, David Lamaga under fire from Robert Denton. Lamaga in the 28 DTL Customs, Denton in the 93. Denton will look to the inside here. He will have the preferred line through 3 and 4. Lamaga will have the run, will get about a nose advantage. And now Denton, shorter distance. Can Lamaga get the momentum up top? Not a lot of momentum. They will go door to door. Now advantage to Denton. With these guys side by side, this opens up the door for Jeff Pogo to maybe gain a spot here fairly easily. He has to just fill in the gap that Denton made and, you know, just hit his marks for a lap or two. Probably can get around Lamaga here. David trying to find something up on the top lane. So far can't quite do so, as they will once again stay door number to door number here through 1 and 2. A great battle for the P number 8 position right now. Only 2 cars really battling out on the speedway. Everything else finding their rhythm, figuring out what they need to do to get these cars to this first pit stop. As here, still side by side for P number 8. Lamaga not making this pass easy for Pogo. Pogo trying to get clear, but can't quite get the job done by the time it's time to lift for the next corner. As if Pogo wants to get clear, he's going to have to do it right here off of turn number 4. That time able to do it. Now here comes Matthew Taylor and the number 8 machine. Taylor going to try and do what Pogo did, but Lamaga, a great run off of turn number 2. He's able to hang on to P number 9. Lamaga fading ever so slightly. Same with Stephen Holmes. He is down 3 spots from where he started. Still the biggest mover, Johnny Barker, still hanging out in that second position. Out in front though, Jim Ott has taken the race lead, so Ott has let Ritter go, has got back around him, then let Low go, and then has since gotten around him. So Jim Ott has been probably the most consistent pace here tonight at North Wilkesboro. But don't look here. I should say don't look too far down the track, but we may have some lap traffic here about a quarter track ahead. With everyone a little bit spread on out, we're going to go from the track map on the right side of your screen here. You can see how everyone's kind of spread on out, but kind of three distinct packs with our lead pack here approaching the start finish line, about 6 cars or so in that. Then from 7th of Robert Denton to about the 58 of Branningham, you know, is pack number 2. Then we have our last little pack made up of the 12 car of Cody Brewer, and then all the way back to the 81 of Dan Dill. In that third pack here, we're looking at a battle as Eli Raposa trying to get around the 2 machine of Nick Larson. Raposa in the W46 down low, Larson up top in that orange and white number 2 machine. These guys catching I believe that is the 12 car of Cody Brewer. Larson finds a lot of momentum up top. He will go to the outside of Austin Smith, try and get clear here through 3 and 4. It's right in front of him. Man, Cody way up against the fence here. We're going to go jump on board with Cody and kind of look on back to the left rear here as Nick Larson will look to his inside as contact further in the back, I believe, with Alex Smith and Dustin Coggins. As there, Jason Wiley into the wall there in 3 and 4. We're going to jump back and look at the back bumper, riding on board with Austin Smith here. As you can hear how long Austin Smith has to wait to get in the throttle, that is definitely a symptom of a tight feeling race car, so the car doesn't rotate as much as you need. As Austin Smith gets a piece of the grass, we're riding on board with him, and we'll get a piece of the inside wall. We'll see if he can get that thing rolling. Looks like yes he can, but looks like we'll go down a lap as hang on to it Austin, as that car definitely seems a little bit wounded. A tough break for the number 33 machine. He will limp around on the inside lane here. Yes, yeah, Austin will pull it down pit road here. Probably try and get some of that damage repaired. Nick Larson was able to get around the 12. Now 3 wide off of turn number 4. Here we go. This is the battle all the way back in the 15th position. Excuse me, 16th, 17th, and 18th. So these drivers racing very hard for a little bit deeper in the field, but they know they cannot afford to kind of wait too long as Jim Ott sits about a quarter of a track back here as we approach lap 50 of 200. Battle here for P number 10 as Eric Holly trying to get around Dave Lomaga. Lomaga was able to figure out the top side and keep some speed up there, and once again not making it easy for Holly. We've been working on this pass now for at least 2 laps. Still very early in this race, so You know, drivers don't have to race too aggressively around each other. Don't have to race right on someone's door, but this race gets later into the night here. We'll see the intensity continue to ramp on up. Raposa and Brewer still trying to duke it on out. Jason Wiley right here. Wiley will give Brewer a tap there through 3 and 4. That will allow Raposa to get on clear. Here comes the 13 of Jason Wiley. And here we go. Jim Ott has caught the 81 machine. That will move Dan Dill down 1 lap here. As now Ott will see cars side by side right in front of him. Let's ride on board with our race leader. Man, very close between Jim Ott and Cody Brewer. You heard Ott have to get on the brakes a little bit harder. You saw that front end slide. And that's what can happen with these kind of big brakes. They can easily lock up these tires here. As you see, Jim Ott, I believe, put Caleb Hatt another lap down. Ott closing on the gap to put the 13 of Jason Wiley 1 lap down. If the yellow falls here at this moment, Dan Dill currently going to be the lucky dog. Umaga kind of holding up Eric Holly, and with this, it has allowed the 2 cars behind to catch on up, that being the 69 of Chris Taylor and now the 90 of Stephen Holmes. These 4 all doing battle right around the edge of the top 10 here, as Holly will sail it in there deep, try and get clear, but Umaga will have momentum, but Eric Holly gets a great run off of turn number 2. He has the advantage. And now here's where the inside line can be very good. Can he get clear? Yes, he can. Eric Holly into the top 10. Now how quickly can the likes of Chris Taylor and maybe Stephen Holmes get around the number 28 machine? Because as they're running, they're about half a track back from our race leader. Jim Ott still working on some lap traffic. Jason Wiley right in front of our race leader gets a little bit out of sorts. And the longer Ott is stuck in traffic, the more time that Rob Lowell has to catch this number 4 machine, because right now Ott has about a 3/4 second advantage over Lowell, but that could change here in a hurry as now Ott looks to the inside of Raposa. Raposa will get up and out of the way of the leaders here, same with the 2 of Nick Larson. Of Jason Wiley racing hard with those guys. Here comes Rob Lowell. Lowell will make a little bit of contact there with the 46 of Raposa. Will use up all the racetrack there on the inside lane. As now Lowell will see 2 lappers side by side in front of him. We'll try and quickly dispatch the 2 and then the 13 as Ott has checked on out to now about a 1 second advantage over the 21 machine here. Yeah, a little bit confusing. That's because of old trade and paint. So as we can see, there's 2 93s out on track. This one is Caleb Hatt. Hatt, of course, scored with the 27 in the time and scoring, but the real 93, that is correct, in the time and scoring, is right behind him. That, of course, is Robert Denton. Then running in the 7th position as we see 93s go door to door here down the front stretch. But yeah, not sure what happened to Hat, but he is quite a few laps down here already. So some early troubles with the 27 monster machine or the 93. Again, has been able to hold off Matt Taylor behind, but Taylor will sail it in there deep and get clear of the 27 here. So far here tonight has been clean and green since we have taken the green flag. That is all we have seen for the first 69 laps here of 200. As running down the current running order, looks like the following: the number 4 machine of Jim Ott leading the way. Then in P number 2 will be the 21 machine, that is Rob Lowell. Then we go to P number 3. That is Leaf Guard number 16 of Steve Ritter. Currently running in the 4th position is the 62. That is Frank Zingen. And then the biggest mover, well, second biggest mover of the night now, currently running in the P number 5 spot, is the 6th of Johnny Barker. Biggest mover here at the moment will be this Rogue Energy number 42 of Dustin Coggins. Coggins up 9 spots from where he started as we see the first yellow flag fall here tonight. And I believe it will be the 27 or the 93 monster machine of Caleb Hatt. We'll take a look here through 3 and 4 and see what happened to Hatt. As we see Hatt rolling through 3 and 4 here, Jeff Pogo right behind him. And coming off of turn number 4, Hatt having a lot of wheel in it. Pogo trying to go low, and looks like just maybe a little bit different closing rates there. Pogo probably not realizing he was going to be that quickly to the left rear, and Hatt probably not realizing that Pogo is going to be there that quick. Just making some contact off of the corner, and looks like Hatt will quickly pull it down pit road. But here we go, a lot of cars down on the pit road. As a very busy pit road, as I believe everyone but everyone but the top 5. Coming on down pit road, and it looks like everyone but David Lomaga down on pit road. Dave probably staying out to get a point to lead a lap, but everyone else, of course, taking advantage of this first yellow. 70 laps on these tires. Everyone quickly coming on down, taking 4 fresh virtual Goodyear tires and filling it up with that good virtual Sunoco race fuel. As that's exactly what Lomag is doing. Stayed on out to lead a lap. Now that will hand on over the race lead to Jim Ott. As we are almost at the halfway point here tonight. First yellow all the way on lap 70. So great job so far by these drivers. Want to give these guys a hand, as the first 2 races, double digits yellows in all of them. If you're a fan of watching some virtual race cars crash, you know, there's some decent crashes in the first 2, but tonight a heck of a job by these guys to go this first stint all that way without a yellow. Alrighty, folks, and here we go, getting ready to go back to green flag racing action. It is Ott and Lowell. Jim Ott will get to fire on off, and it looks like instantly back down to yellow, so not sure what, but I think not everyone ready for the restart, so it looks like iRacing will throw it here very quickly, and we'll try and get things sorted back on out. As hopefully this time on by, get these drivers to get ready to go back to green flag racing action, because I think someone may be in the back not quite ready to go. As I believe it might have been with the 81 machine. We're going to try and see what happened. As yeah, that will definitely bring out a yellow, you know, Dan Dill to allow other drivers around coming to a stop on the backstretch, and that will draw the yellow flag 9 times out of 10 here on iRacing. As it seems like we're going to run this thing fully on out, so while I have a moment, I'm going to go grab a drink of water and throw you guys to a quick premiere commercial break. We'll be right back on the other side here in about 30 seconds. Here we go, back at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Looks like maybe a single file restart. As here we go, we'll get them doubled on up and try and let them to go green flag racing here, as kind of our first official restart, as the last one called off just before, so that's why I chose 2. But our first restart here, Jim Ott on the loud pedal, and here we go, back to green flag racing. Some 3 wide as contact further on down, heads up as one car goes around. I believe that was the number 16 machine of Steve Ritter. As man, oh man, that could have been a lot worse than it was, but luckily everyone, I believe, gets through pretty cleanly. As we'll try and catch again, see what happened to Steve Ritter. As Ritter off of turn number 2 just gets that thing sideways, has to kind of get on the binders to hang on to it, and Frank, nowhere to go, just sends that car around. But an impressive job by the rest of the field, able to not hit that slow number 16 machine, and a heck of a save by Steve Ritter to not collect anyone else or get a piece of any of the walls. So a quick yellow flag there after the restart, as I think some of these guys may have forgotten how loose these cars can be on cold tires, and Steve Ritter found out pretty quickly the hard way there, looping his car there off at turn number 2. So looking here, oh, sounds like one car blows up maybe on the pit road. Looks like the 33 of Austin Smith, his day might be done to an end. I believe his car blew on up on the pit road, overheated. Of course, you see it up in the top left. This series being brought to you by Riptide Radio. Riptide Radio, the sounds of the salt, sand, and sea from Ocean Drive in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. For some of the best music, be sure to check them on out, and I'll show you where right now on screen. That's right, you can scan that QR code and get the Riptide Radio app for any of your mobile devices and listen to some of the best and beach and boogie music. Of course, we got to thank all the rest of the sponsors on there: Leaf Guard, BG Graphics out of the Woodscraft, GStone Motors, Stone Auto Sales, and DTL Customs. As here we go again, as the lights are out for the field. Jim Ott once again leading the field to the green flag, and Ott will get away with another great start. As for third place, we'll go 2 by 2 deeper in the field. It is Whit Lane can get the better traction here as one car goes around once again off of turn number 2. It will be the 6 Valvoline machine, that time Johnny Barker. If I had to guess without seeing this one, I would say it will be very similar to the yellow we saw for Steve Ritter. As Barker off of turn number 4, and no, Zingen will get big time out of sorts, will just tap the right front of Johnny Barker, and that will sail that car right on around. So Barker kind of a innocent bystander here, just running his line, and then the 62, a ton of wheel spin, will slide on down and just bang fenders with the number 6 as we see Barker down on pit road here. So the first 70 laps going all green flag now on lap number 90 under our 4th yellow. So a flurry of yellows coming in, one big group here right around the halfway point here in tonight's 200 lap. Moonshine still 200 at North Wilkesboro Speedway. Last time it worked with a decent amount of success, so we're going to try it again. And what I am talking about is sending these guys off with a little turn 3, turn it up on the restart. So we're going to go let the cars do the talking on the restart, and maybe that will be the little bit of magic right before this halfway point to get some green flag laps in the books here. Lights will continue to stay on the pace car, so I believe over race control there it is 2 laps to green. So now as they go down the backstretch, it will be a lap and a half. Right now this guy in the top 10 for the first time here tonight, up a whopping 17 position, started dead last on the field, currently running in the number 7th position. That is, of course, the 42 of Dustin Coggin. Coggin been clawing his way through the field the first half of the race. What else does he have in the tank here? As it will be Lowell, Delgado, Holly, and Pogo will make up the top 5 on the restart. And let's get it going with some speed here. We'll be right back with some turn 3, turn it up. As that will not do it, as we get another yellow flag to put it on out, so we will try it again. We'll try and see what happened in the field, but it looks like I believe Jeff Pogo's sitting down in the order, so we'll take a look at the 97. Yeah, it looks like Pogo, big time tire spin, tries to save that car, gets Guerin into the wall, and then the rest of the field having to make big time evasive maneuvers. Branham into the inside wall. Ariba can big time hits to the inside, then the outside wall. We see also the 69 of Chris Taylor facing the wrong direction there into turn number 1. So our first kind of big time multi-car incident here right before lap 100. As we sit under our 5th caution here tonight, first 70 going clean and green, and then the last about 30 now has been yellow before we even complete 2 laps. So I assume most of these drivers realize that there's still over half the race still left to go, but they need a little reminder. We're not even to the halfway point. Very close to it now, but still a lot of racing to be had here tonight at North Wilkesboro. Of course, for race number 3 of the Riptide Radio Next Gen Cup Series. And I believe in the points, folks, I want to say it is a tie at the top of the standings between, I believe, last week's winner of Jeff Pogo and then the 16 Leaf Guard machine of Steve Ritter. Both those guys sitting with 85 points up at the top of the point standing. So I know very, very early to look at that, but something to keep in mind. See who the most consistent drivers are, let's say. As there's only been one driver to finish in the top 5 in every race of this season. And it currently is the guy sitting in P number 9. That is the Leaf Guard machine of Steve Ritter. To have all top 10 finishes, that of course includes Steve Ritter, Nick Larson, Kenny Reel, Jeff Pogo, and Matthew Taylor. So 5 drivers with a perfect top 10 record through the first 2 races. We'll see who can walk out of it with 3 as Jeff Pogo fires on off the way. And another great start from Pogo. He will get clear into turn number 1. Lowell will hold off Delgado. Then first side by side is Matt Taylor and Dustin Coggins. These guys doing battle for P number 5, but this time at the stripe for Ott. We will see cross flags here halfway down, halfway home in the Moonshine, still 200. Matt Taylor up in the wrong lane with these fresh tires, trying to hang on to as many spots as he can right now, trying to hang on to spot number 6, but Brandon Guerin will get clear, but Taylor will get the run off of turn number 2. As once again, the field will get slowed on down for the 6th time here. It looks like a slow DTL Customs David Lomaga here on the backstretch. Also Dan Dill turning on around that 81 machine. So we'll try and see what happened to the 28 of Lomaga here down the backstretch. Oh man, Lomaga, I don't know if he got a piece of the wall or just got loose, but Eli Raposa nowhere to go, makes heavy contact. Same with the 13 of Jason Wiley to the inside wall. So once again, a multi-car incident here, starting with the 28 machine off of turn number 2. Lap number 105, excuse me, we'll click on over to here at North Wilkesboro under our 6th caution here tonight. As once again, want to thank all you guys tuning on in here live, cheering on your favorite drivers, and enjoying the show with myself. You know, these guys do put on some great racing, and you know, those first 70 were action-packed, and hopefully we get back to that as we continue to pace here under the yellow felt. And with after tonight, you know, this series starts to go to some of the, let's say, the quote-unquote bigger tracks, some of the mile-and-a-halfers, that being Texas in a week from now. Then after that, these drivers will try and tackle Atlanta December 15th. Then December 22nd will be the Pocono race. So Pocono kind of its own beast, but that will be, of course, a 2-mile length racetrack, a very long and tricky one. Then the All-Star race will be on New Year's to kick off 2025. Then these drivers will once again see a 1.5 mile, that being the Chicagoland Speedway. Race number 8 on January 12th will be the first road course for Watkins Glen. Race number 9 on January 19th will be the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And then to round out the first 10 races will be Darlington, January 26th. As here we go, folks, we got the field re-racked, restacked, and getting ready to go back to green flag racing action. If we get at least a lap, we're doing some turn 3, turn it up. As Jim out once again, a great restart. Rob Lowell trying to hold off Delgado. Does Delgado have a good enough run? No, he will not. As through 3 and 4, the field will come. Let's do a little turn 3, turn it up here at North Wilkesboro. Love the sounds of these cars around a short track, as these guys clicking off, of course, sub 20-second laps here as Jim Ott continues to lead the way over Rob Lowell, then Christian Delgado. Dustin Coggins up into the top 5. He is 4th, and look at this guy, Eric Holly, currently in P number 5. Right behind them, we have a battle for 6. Justin Brandenham will complete the move on the number 93, Robert Denton. Denton currently, though, 1 lap down here tonight, currently in the 21st position. Excuse me, Denton now 2 laps down, so he's going to hope for a few more yellows to get back on the lead lap. So Brandenham 6th, Matt Taylor 7th, Steve Ritter 8th, Johnny Barker 9th, and then Jeff Pogo rounding out the top 10. Of course, we see 2 by 2, 2 rows deep here as Ritter tries to get around Denton here. Looks like he will. Jeff Pogo almost 3 wide off of turn number 4. He will have to fall back in line behind Johnny Barker as Barker gets big time loose off of turn number 2. Will slam the door shut on Pogo. Here comes Brandon Guerin looking to the outside of the 97. And now Jason Wiley will look to the inside of the 1. So Wiley, one of those drivers that went a lap down during that first green flag run, was able to get back on the lead lap. Now currently running in a solid 13th position here. As with those flurries of yellows, you know, a little bit of attrition, especially in the mid-pack. Right now everyone continues to sort on out where they want to run. Steve Ritter trying to complete the pass over Brandenham 4-7. Johnny Barker still side by side with Robert Denton. Has not been able to complete the pass as Jeff Pogo just continues to sit, wait for a lane to open. Now the inside will be open here into turn number 1. Bit of tire smoke from the 58 of Brandenham. I will leave the door open for Barker as we ride on board with Brandenham. Barker to the inside here as they enter door to door into turn number 3. Now Brandenham under fire from Jeff Pogo here. You can see just how bumpy this track is. These cars jumping around, sliding around underneath these drivers as they continue to try and find what lane their car and themselves are the happiest in. As, oh man, almost contact there with Brandon Guerin and the rear bumper of Brandenham. Out in front, though, battle for the race lead. Jim Ott under fire from Rob Lowell. Roll down low, Ott up top. As contact for the race lead, as Ott will go around off the nose of Rob Lowell, as that will bring us under the yellow flag here for the 7th time. And we'll take a look here under the super slow-mo of Jim Ott going around here with Rob Lowell. Lowell trying to use up all of the racetrack, try and keep that momentum. And that is how little contact it takes to send a race car around, as the 4 of Jim Ott from the race lead will fall all the way back to about P number 15, but Ott does a great job keeping that car off the wall, keeping it on the raceway. as we will see him head down pit road and probably get at least 2 tires on that race car, if not 4. Man, oh man, drama unfolding. It's about to get wild here as we now have less than 75 laps left here tonight. Right before we get to that, under our 7th yellow, we'll go to commercial break. We'll be right back here in 30 seconds. And here we are back at the North Wilkesboro Speedway for race number 3 of the Riptide Radio 802 Next Gen Cup Series. Rob Lowell out in the lead with contact with Jim Ott. Ott will restart now all the way back in the 16th position, but luckily for Ott, he still has time on his side. Still 70 laps left as the field will re-rack, restack, and we get them ready to fire on off back to green. Lowell Delgado making up the front row. Then row number 2 will be made up of Coggins, Holly. Then it is Taylor and Ritter. The iRacing pace car makes the hard left-hand turn down pit road, and Rob Lowell wasted no time to get back on the gas. He will get away with a great jump over the field. Top 3 will single file on out. Then Eric Holly tries to roll the top side on Matt Taylor. Right behind those 2 is Steve Ritter trying to figure out what lane he wants to run in, as man, Eric Holly drives it in there deep. Somehow gets that car to stick as Matt Taylor makes contact. He will slide down and slide right across the track, right across the nose of the 16 of Steve Ritter. Now it's Ritter down low, Taylor up top. This is the battle for the 5th position here out on track. As Taylor will have the advantage, like I said, in 1 and 2 on the high side. Now here comes where you want to be down low. Taylor able to get clear of Ritter, so Taylor able to defend P number 5. Further back in the pack here, Jim Ott trying to make his way back through the field right now, stuck in heavy traffic as Zingen and Holmes side by side in front of him here. Ott does have 4 fresh tires under that number 4 machine, so he definitely has some really good pace compared to the cars around him. But he is going to be on a slightly different strategy than most of the field because, you know, it was a pretty light pit road on that yellow around the 130 mark, so right in front of Odd Parker and the 69 of Chris Taylor side by side. Parker will now try and get around the 13 of Jason Wiley. Wiley getting some good drive off, especially turn number 4, but that time Barker able to stick a nose to the inside. Wiley will drive it in there, drift up the racetrack, and Mason Wiley leaves the door wide open, and same with Brannahan here as Barker will try and go around both of them here in 2 laps. Man, oh man, what a race here around the 10th position here tonight, as these guys try and claw their way back through the field here. And these guys, the last couple laps, have been 2 to 3 tenths faster than all of the cars in front of him, so their new tires definitely showing an advantage. They're hoping that this run, you know, could potentially go to the end, and if that's the case, they could get all the way up to the race lead, and even if they have a yellow, can have the track position in their hand, because as we approach lap 50, that's pretty much going to be the name of the game. You want as the best track position that you can get, because as we're seeing here tonight, without tires, it's pretty tough to pass around this racetrack with how even the lanes are. So we continue to keep an eye on these two slicing and dicing their way through the field here, as Barker will go to the outside of Ritter here in 1 and 2. Man, what a power move by Barker, as he will get a big time run on Matt Taylor. Taylor will slide the rear tires off of turn number 2, and man, Barker with big time momentum up top. That will move him into the top 5, as Jim Ott will try the same move here. Ott will get a nose to the high side of Taylor. He will sail it down into turns number 3 and 4. Let that car drift on up. As long as he doesn't get big time wheel spin, Jim Ott should be able to clear. Yes, he does into turn number 1. So that moves Barker and Ott to 5th and 6th here, as Barker still not done trying to get around Eric Holly now for P number 4. What a race it has been here in the second half for Johnny Barker, picking up that strategy when he needs to. Now on the back bumper of Dustin Coggins for a podium spot. Johnny Barker is Mr. Ironman, has started every race in the Cup Series. As, oh man, not quite what those guys wanted to see. As the yellow flag will fly here for the 8th time here tonight, as it looks like maybe the number 16 machine with some damage on the right front. We're gonna go try and see what happened to Steve Ritter here. Ritter battling Brannahan for the 9th position here off of turn number 2. And Ritter and Brannahan just making contact. They will get stuck together, and then, man, Ritter almost getting that opening down the backstretch here in North Wilkesboro. Then everyone else making evasive maneuvers. You see Wiley's brake rotors start to glow there as he gets on the brakes big time, but luckily everyone doing a great job avoiding Ritter there. As some drivers staying on out. Looks like Brandon Guerin and Jason Wiley still out on the racing surface. So the first car out from pit road will be Christian Delgado. Then Jeff Pogo with a little bit of a strategy car call, only taking right side tires for the 97. So we'll have to see how Pogo's car's driving. Yeah, front 2 staying on out. That will be the one of Brandon Guerin and the 13 of Jason Wiley. So as long as Guerin and Wiley don't come down, here is what the top 5 on the restart will look like. Brandon Guerin in the number 1 machine, currently leading the way. Jason Wiley and the 13 running in second. Third going to the 31 of Christian Delgado. Fourth is last week's winner, the 97 of Jeff Pogo. And then rounding out the top 5 will be the 21 of Rob Wold. So lights will go out around the speedway. We will re-rack and restack them and get ready for restart number 8 of the night here inside of 50 laps to go for the Moonshine Still 200 with the Riptide Radio Next Gen Cup Series. iRacing pace car will make the turn down on pit road. Brandon Guerin fires on off well, and here we go back to green flag as Guerin away with a great start. Here comes Jim Ott trying to muscle his way, and he is already back on the back bumper of Rob Wold. So everyone in the field except for the top 2 on the same tire strategy here. Brandon Guerin trying to run with the lunch money here, but he has a quick Christian Delgado with 4 fresh tires behind him as we get another yellow flag here as we see Branham and Taylor stopped on the backstretch. So we'll try and see what happened here on the backstretch. As Matt Taylor here rolling through 1 and 2. We'll go speed up it just a little bit so we're not waiting as long in anticipation. But looking at the number 8W machine of Matt Taylor, looks like Taylor just gets a little bit sideways. Branham not quite in the right place at the right time, and Taylor will bring that thing to a halt. So once again, a car getting loose off of turn number 2 with these new tires and coming to bite them there. So under 50 laps to go here tonight as we approach now 40 to go, probably once we go back to green flag racing. Brandon Guerin about 20 lap older tires than the cars around him. And while we have Guerin out in front, let's try and find a little bit of information from the driver of the number 1. Brandon Guerin from Rouse's Point, New York. Nickname is Youngblood, of course, part of the Piston Broke Motorsports. And the sponsors you see on the car being Barstool Sports, Body Armor, and Rubbin' is Racing Podcast. Some iRacing accomplishments is 4 career Riptide Radio Cup Series wins. And here tonight trying to make it 5. Favorite type of racing is the dirt side of racing. Favorite driver is Smoke himself, Tony Stewart. His favorite real-life track and car combo is Granbury Autodrome with the dirt car modifieds. Over on iRacing, it is South Boston in the new mini stock. So you don't hear too many people huge fans of mini stock, but Brandon Guerin, one of those guys. Most memorable moment on iRacing is finishing second to Frank at points during season 2. of the 802 series. And goals for this season is to win. Brandon Guerin trying to do that in the best spot he can right now, leading the way in the closing stages of race number 3. Guerin away with another great start. Delgado under a little bit of fire from Lowell, but Delgado will sail it in there deep. He will go to the high side of Brandon Guerin, door to door down the backstretch for the race lead. Man, oh man, Delgado will sail it in there deep, and new race leader Christian Delgado out in front. As Rob Lowell will try and get clear of Guerin, will do so. Here comes Jim Ott. As one car sideways, one car hard into the wall. Frank Zingen goes on around as everyone still tries to make evasive maneuvers, but some big time hits for the 62 of Zingen. Man, oh man, some big time hits there, as we'll take a look once again, and some contact between Chris Taylor and Zingen. And Zingen checks on up, Ritter gets in the back of him, and then everything else, chain reaction drivers trying to get on through where cars are not. Matt Taylor doing a great job finding where the cars are not, able to get through there without any damage, but looks like the out of the Woodcraft 62 machine done for the night. So we are back here at North Wilkesboro under our 10th caution here tonight. As Christian Delgado leading his first laps of the night. So far, Delgado, Lowell, and Ott all on those fresh tires. Brandon Guerin trying to hang on to what he can in fourth. And then Johnny Barker rounding out the top 5 here. As this time by, we should get the 1 to go signal. Let's see how, if we can finish these last about 30 or so laps under the green flag. As here we go, Delgado, Lowell making up the front row. What kind of restart can Christian get? A little bit of front end damage to that 31, but that is not slowing him down. As here we go, they'll fire off side by side for second. Jim Ott down low, Rob Lowell up top. Ott's gonna have to try and get this pass done with these fresh tires, because that is the time to get the move done on this inside lane. So far, door number to door number for second place here. Rob Lowell, big time sideways off of turn number 2, trying to get to that power early, able to hang on to that car. Jim Ott will drift on up right to the door of the 21. Lowell will get a piece of the wall down the front stretch. Ott will get big time sideways into 1, and we will have to slow down the field once again here as It looks like they are still spinning here as Chris Taylor getting that thing facing the right direction, and same with the 87 of Dan Dill. So yellow flag once again. We'll go try and take a look, see what happened to the 69 of Chris Taylor. So Taylor just outside of the top 10 here, battling for 12th with Stephen Holmes. And it looks like Taylor just puts a little bit too much wheel to the left, gets a little bit more wheel spin than he bargained for, and that thing just comes around there very quickly. Then further up front, Dan Dill making contact with Denton, and that sends the 81 machine around as well. So two kind of separate incidents bringing out the yellow flag here for the 11th time. And now with restarts this late in the race, aggression level gonna be turned all the way up. It's gonna be all take and no give. So should be interesting to see how this thing shakes on out inside of this last 30. Of course, as the field is slowed, we of course got to give a shout out to the title sponsor, that being Riptide Radio. Riptide Radio, the sounds of the salt, sand, and sea from Ocean Drive in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I tell you what, they play some great stuff, and I'm jealous of their weather. Up here in the Midwest, it is snowy and cold, and I'm sure down there in South Carolina, it is some great weather. So definitely very, very jealous. But not as jealous as this guy right here leading the way, Christian Delgado, trying to pick up his first win of the season. If he can get it done, that will be, I believe, just his second win ever in the series. So yeah, you can see a decent amount of nose damage to that 31 machine, but luckily doesn't seem to be affecting the pace, and definitely seems like he still has all his horsepower, because that's the two things you got to worry about here in iRacing with damage is how much does it affect the car and the speed, because these things still are pretty aerodynamically efficient, let's say, or lack thereof, depending on if you're comparing these to maybe an F1 car or just your daily street car. But every little thing matters. And then of course engine damage with iRacing, depending on how hard you hit the car, if you have throttle in it, all sorts of crazy factors weigh into that equation as well. But luckily it seems like neither of those affecting the 31, as here we go, Delgado away. Jim Ott, big time tire spin from the number 4 machine. That puts Barker to his outside here, so I'm going to have to defend just a little bit here. Barker will sail it in there deep. Once again, get to the outside of Ott. Ott will slide on up and take that line away as we get 25 to go here. Here comes Dustin Coggins. Coggins looking to the inside as Jeff Pogo goes around here mid-pack and facing the wrong direction. So Pogo will bring out the 12th yellow here tonight, and we'll try and see what happened here going into turn number 1. Raposa a little bit sideways, and then you see that front end hopping. Couldn't get that car to turn, and then Pogo, just an innocent bystander, kind of gets cleaned on out there. So Pogo gonna have a tall task in front of him to go back to back. Now all the way back in P number 16 with under 25 to go. It is going to be very tough to be talking to the 97, but anything can happen at these short tracks. 23 laps to go if it goes green to the end. We still have a lot of racing. as under our 12th yellow flag here tonight, with about 23 coming to 22 laps to go. Christian Delgado continues to lead the way. Rob Lowell in second, Jim Ott making up third, Johnny Barker fourth, Dustin Coggins rounding out the top five. Currently in sixth is the 16 of Steve Ritter. Seventh is Robert Denton, so Denton able to come back from 2 laps down, back on the lead lap, back inside the top 10. He currently runs 7th. 8th going to Eli Raposa. 9th is Eric Holly, and Brandon Guerin with that different strategy did come back down pit road on 170, so Guerin trying to make his way back through the field. He is currently rounding out the top 10. So Guerin about 20 lap fresher tires on the number 1. Does he have enough time to continue to pick his way through the field? We'll have to wait and see, because when we go back green, it will be under 20 laps to go. Once again, a lot of people making this series happen. Of course, got to give a huge shout out. All the drivers showing up each and every week, putting on a show for all of us to enjoy. The admin team over at the 802 League doing a great job at doing the hard work behind the scenes. Myself being an admin for a different league, definitely not enough credit given to those guys. So big round of applause to those. And then, of course, all the league and series sponsors. Those being BG Graphics, Out of the Woods Crafts, Riptide Radio, DTL Custom Graphics, Leaf Guard, Stone Motors, and GStone Motorsports. As Delgado once again lead the field to green. What kind of restart can he get? What kind of wheel spin is out there for these drivers? Christian Delgado once again fires out of the cannon. Able to get a great start this time. Ott able to get to the inside of Lowell. Well, we'll be able to roll the top side there. Johnny Barker going to try and do the same. Barker with the advantage going into turn number 3. 18 to go at the stripe side by side for third, as Eric Holly will go around on the front stretch here, and that will slow down the pace here once again. These tires still kind of not up to temp, and these drivers still feeling it out here tonight, as still a decent amount of drivers wheel spinning on corner exit, this time off of turn number 4 here, as we take a look at the 7 of Eric Holly. So Holly here just trying to get to maybe the inside of the 93. No, just makes contact with the rear bumper and maybe pedaling it, just jumping in the throttle a little bit too hard, sending that 7 machine right around on the front stretch, and luckily not hit by any other drivers, as still quite a few cars flying on by there. So Johnny Barker was able to make the move on the high side, so I'll move Barker up into 3rd, Jim Ott down into 4th here. As this time by at the stripe, we'll get 15 to go, and that means one final time here tonight. We'll go throw over to commercial break, and we'll be right back here for the ending of this one. You won't want to miss it, folks. Alrighty, folks, we come back here to the North Wilkesboro Speedway. As this time by at the stripe, we should get the 1 to go signal. I tell you what, one driver that is loving these restarts here is Delgado. If it keeps it up, Lowell's gonna have his work cut out for him to try and get around the 31. Delgado going for his second ever career win. First win this season. So far, 2 different winners. Start with Bowen, then Pogo. Who will be the third? We'll find out here with 12 laps to go on this restart. The field fires on off, and that time not a killer restart like we saw many times before from Delgado, but we'll drive it in there deep. We'll get clear of Lowell. Barker will hang on to second. Here comes Jim on the high side, trying to bring along Dustin Coggins in the 42. 11 to go at the stripe. Jeff Pogo quickly trying to make up those spots that he lost. Pogo just outside of the top 10 there as he made it 3 wide. 1 car sideways. That is Matt Taylor, as everyone making evasive maneuvers as Taylor will get that thing righted the right direction, but not before another yellow flag here with 10 to go. So we'll keep an eye on the 8W machine here in turns 1 and 2. And it looks like just catches the transition wrong for Matt Taylor. That car is still hopping and bouncing, and you see that car quickly come on around once he goes to apply the power. As we ride on board with Taylor, and you can see that car just bouncing and hopping. And that's definitely enough to upset that car and break that traction like we saw for the number 8. So inside of 10 to go under the yellow flag here, 9 to go at the stripe, and probably once we go green flag racing, it'll probably be 6 laps or less to go to decide a winner for race number 3 here. Like I mentioned before, folks, even if your driver has a bad race or even 2, there are 2 drop weeks in this league, so that will definitely come into more effect as we close in on the later parts of the season for the points. But these drivers knowing that, keeping that in their back pockets in case, there are 2 races to drop. So if you're, not good at a road course, let's say, or, you can't make all 23 weeks, you still have a shot at the championship before it's all said and done. I believe this time by we should get the 1 to go signal, so it will be a 5-lap shootout if we can make it to the end. If not, I believe there's 2 attempts at a green-white checker. Daytona, we had to use some green-white checkers. We'll see if we have to use any tonight, because here we go, folks. 5-lap shootout, North Wilkesboro Speedway. Some good old short track racing action coming to you here. Delgado, Lowell making up the front row. Then it is Barker, Ritter, Ott, and Coggin. What kind of restart can Delgado get? How about Lowell? Here we go, back to green flag. Delgado away with a great start. Here comes Steve Ritter up top. Ritter trying to continue that top 5 finish. Has finished in the top 5 every race this season. Currently trying to do it as he is now in a podium spot into third. 4 laps to go at the stripe. Barker all over the back bumper, and yellow flag out once again for the 15th time here tonight, as we have the 2 of Nick Larson, and it looks like the 87 of Dan Dill here stopped in turns 1 and 2. So we'll take a look here at full speed, see what happened. Oh, Dan Dill just loses that car going into kind of on the front stretch, and then everyone else trying to make evasive maneuvers. But we're going to try and see one more time, see what happened to Dill, as coming off definitely very, very low. Not as much traction as the rest of the groove, and I think just gets a little bit behind that car, and then before you can blink, folks, you're already heading to the outside wall, and looks like Eric Holly, wrong place, wrong time, will make pretty significant contact to the 81. Then Nick Larson trying to check up, gets in the back, I think, of the 28, and that sends the 2 and the 28 around as well. So a lot going on there, but out in front, our first attempt at a green-white checkered. Delgado's just got to keep Lowell guessing. Has to change up when he goes on these restarts, so Lowell can't time it, because I think in 3 laps you are going to be very hard-pressed to get these tires up to temp quick enough, as well as be able to build up that run. So Delgado trying to pick up his second win ever in this series. Lowell trying to bring back the form, was very, very good last time this series came to North Wilkesboro last season, trying to capitalize off that momentum. Steve Ritter trying to keep his top 5 streak. Only driver that has done so far this season. First 2 races there. 3rd race here tonight in the right spot. Currently sitting P number 3. Johnny Barker 4th, and then our biggest mover of the night, Dustin Coggins, up 19 spots. Started shotgun on the field, dead last here in 24th. Currently running in P number 5. Then in 6th, our pole sitter, Jim Ott, walking away with some money here tonight and a little bit of prestige, picking up the Leaf Guard Pole Award. Trying to get back into the top 5. Currently running 6th. Robert Dent, up and down night for him. He sits 7th. 8th is Eli Raposa, having a quiet night. Brandon Garrett 9th. Chris Taylor rounding out the top 10. Back up to the front row. Here we go. Attempt number 1 at a green-white checkered. Delgado once again, good restart. Here we go. What does Lowell have in the tank? Does Steve Ritter have enough? Dustin Coggins will try and get to the inside of Ott. Cannot do it. Out and back. Eli Raposa will go on around. And that will bring out the yellow for the 16th time here tonight. And if we have another yellow, this race will finish under the yellow flag. But here we'll try and take a look, see what happened off of turn number 2. Right around the back half of the top 10. Raposa has to check on up, as he has the number 1 machine of Brandon Garrett right in front of him. Then through 1 and 4, Chris Taylor gives 1 shot to the 46 right at the apex, and then maybe 1 more there on corner exit. That will send the 46 down into Wiley, and then send the 46 right around, and then everyone else doing a pretty good job at missing the rest of the wreck. Looks like maybe Stephen Holmes, Matt Taylor just picking up a little bit of slight damage by the end of that, but no worse for wear, especially in a green-white checker situation. I have a feeling we'll see no drivers down on pit road. As here we go, I believe, final attempt at the green-white checkered. We'll see if we can end it under the green flag or the yellow. If we get the yellow on the 2 to go lap, this race will finish under yellow. But if we see the white flag, these drivers will race it on out till the checkered. Well, it's been a wild race so far here tonight, folks. 16 yellows. First 70 laps went all green flag. We saw Jim Ott kind of dominate the first stages. Then after that, we saw a mixture of drivers out in front. But now this last 50 has been led by Delgado. Here we go. What will happen? Will we finish under green? Will we finish under yellow? Delgado's just got to give it one final solid restart here. Delgado Lowell once again on the front row. Here we go. Final attempt at the green-white checkered. Delgado away, caught Lowell sleeping. Delgado checked on out. Got the restart he could dream of. Lowell now under fire from Ritter and Barker for second. Delgado checked on out. Contact here. Lowell will four-wheel drift. Will get tagged by Barker. Lowell up into the wall. Lowell across the track. We stay green as they are wrecking big time into turn number one. That is a huge wreck there. As down the backstretch, the field will come. Through 3 and 4, Christian Delgado will go. Christian Delgado will pick up the win. Steven Ritter second, Johnny Barker third, Robert Den will somehow get fourth. Wow, against the wall, and man, oh man, what craziness around the backside. There's a lot going on the white flag lap. We're going to try and catch everything that happened, but wow, what a finish there. But Christian Delgado here on the front stretch will burn it on down. Christian Delgado burning it on down for his second career win. Big congrats to him. And of course, we'll be talking to the top 3 after the race here, but we got to take a look here at this white flag, kind of see what happened here as going into turn number 1. Going into turn number 1 here on the white flag. Some smoke up a little bit further than these guys, as looks like Jeff Pogo goes on around. We're going to try and take a look here. Yeah, looks like Jeff Pogo gets sent by Raposa. Raposa losing the front end. Then Denton, four-wheel drift. He will somehow get through it. Everyone else trying to make evasive maneuvers. Looks like everyone will keep it rolling after that, so more stuff must have happened. As actually, I think that's definitely the right lap, so trying to find out the white flag lap incidents as We'll take a look here once again. So here we go. Little slow here. Everyone else trying to make evasive maneuvers. Oh, there we see Den involved. Sorry, Branham. We're trying to slow it on down here. Has a lot going on. So Lowell kind of almost got sent by Ritter. He goes all the way up the track. This stacks up everyone. Then we see Den give Riley the door. As then Branham gets a little bit loose, tries to save that race car, ends up spinning across the track. There is the big 4-car, maybe 5-car incident into turn number 1. As everyone tries to get rolling, then further on back, man, oh man, more stuff going on. As I believe we need to look around the 4-car of Jim Ott here off of turn number 2. This is the second kind of separate incident, as you can see them wrecking up at the top of your screen. Then off of turn number 2 here, Ott and Coggins make hard contact, just missing Johnny Barker. That's how Barker was able to get to P number 3. There you see Den Lowell come in there, and Den somehow keeps that thing pinned up against the wall and able to finish in the 4th position. And Steve Holmes, with all this calamity, able to drive through all the smoke, and Steve Holmes will finish inside the top 10 in P number 5. Wow. Some craziness there, but we'll be right back after commercial break to talk to our top 3. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics and engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Alrighty, folks, we are back here at North Wilkesboro for our post-race show. First driver we'll be talking to is the driver finishing P number 3. It will be the 6 Valvoline car of Johnny Barker. Johnny, do you got a copy of Spread the Jet in the booth here?
Gotcha.
Alrighty, man. Pretty crazy way to end this race. A lot of yellows there. How'd you survive, and how'd you end up P number 3 when the checkered flag fell?
Oh, my luck. It was crazy there at the end. Had a decent car all night. Probably I figured, top 5 I'd have been happy with, but got lucky and got a top 3, so I'll take it.
Yeah, that seemed to be the name of the game there at the end. Cars wrecking all around you, especially down that backstretch. you mentioned luck, but definitely a little bit of luck to get through that with a little bit of skill, though. You need some wreck avoidance.
Oh yeah. I've run good all night. I hated that last. I think I was maybe me and one other one took tires on that run, and we come back up through the field, and I was hoping it was gonna stay green that last 50 laps. I think I come back up to fourth and was running the leaders down, and hated to see the caution, but
Yeah,
happens.
those cautions sometimes inevitable on these short tracks, but one after another, prevents everyone from getting in a rhythm. But Johnny, yeah, if those 50 laps went green, I think you're always a force to reckon with with these long runs. I mean, what have you kind of found the key is to a long run speed? Because it seems like that six car always moving to the front once we know we get past 30 laps on a set of tires.
Yeah, Rob and my teammates, Rob and Steve, they had been helping me tremendous this year on saving the tires, and I was terrible at the beginning of the week when we was practicing. I was burning up my right front, but we practiced for about 2 hours today, and they really helped me, so that made a big difference.
Yeah, practice laps always key. And Johnny, so looking at the stat sheet and whatnot, Iron Man of the series has made every stats, and now another stat for you, another top 5 here finish here, and kind of going with that, hopefully building some momentum for those points, because season long points got to be in the back of your mind every race.
Oh yeah, I told them on Discord. I was like, I was happy riding where I was. I think in fourth at the time. I said after Daytona, that was terrible for me. So I'm trying to dig out of a hole now. So
Yeah,
so that's. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say, luckily 2 drop weeks, so if you do have a bad race at a super speedway like Daytona, season's not quite over yet.
Oh yeah. So this should help me out a lot. I think I gained like 15 spots last week. So we'll see what happens this week, where I end up.
Yeah, those points always going to be a good battle to watch throughout the season. And for the season, long season, 24 races. What's kind of the goals by the end of the season that you hope to accomplish?
I'm shooting for a top 5 in points. As if I finish top 5, I'll be real happy.
Yeah, a good goal to shoot for there. And tonight, doing your part, talking with the broadcaster, will go a long way to that top 5 points finish. And Johnny, first time I interview a person each season, I like to ask what their sim setup is. What do you got in front of you for wheel, pedals, maybe what you're looking at, because I like to even do it each season because, some people tend to upgrade with this crazy sim racing.
Yeah, about halfway through last season, I got the Moza R5.
Nice.
And I was on the stock pedals that come with it. And this year, and I wish I could think of the guy's name because he helped me out a lot, but I got a set of the Fanatec V3 pedals and just a regular single screen. So that's what I'm running on.
Nice. And that Moza, I've heard some pretty good things about that wheel. How are you liking it?
I like it a lot. I wish I would have went with the R9, but I'm probably gonna upgrade to the R9. But I like the Moza. I ain't had no trouble with it at all. So it's a lot better than I was on the Logitech G29. So it was going to a direct drive. It made a pile of difference.
Oh, I bet that is a big step up from going the old gear driven to the direct drive. I'm sure that feels really nice in your hands these days.
Oh yes, sir. It took me a little bit to get used to it, but I'm liking it. I would never go back.
I don't blame you. Well, Johnny, before we let you go and celebrate a podium finish for you here tonight from North Wilkesboro, I'm going to go hand the mic over to you and thank who you got to thank, either helping you finish this P3 or maybe some sponsors on the car.
I just want to thank all my teammates with the Wolfpack Racing. Like I said, they they helped me out tremendous this year. So definitely want to give a thanks to them.
Alrighty, awesome stuff. Well, always a great time talking with you, Johnny. You have yourself a great rest of the night, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again here in the future.
And thank you, Brett, for the broadcast.
Yep, my pleasure. Thank you guys for going out there and putting on a great show.
All right, thank you.
Alrighty, thank you very much. That was Johnny Barker, our third place finisher. Now we'll head to runner-up finisher, that being the Leaf Guard number 16 machine of Steve Ritter. Steve, you got a copy?
I do, Brett. How you doing?
Pretty good, man. How about yourself? Another finish here early this season, another podium, and I mentioned in the broadcast, only driver so far to finish top 5 in all the races, keeping that streak alive here after race number 3.
Yeah, we're getting lucky. I mean, to finish in the top 5 at Daytona and a short track like this, you know, it's we got a horseshoe somewhere that's pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, that it. But, you know, at the end of the day, it does matter how you put yourself in these situations. You know, if you can be high enough like you were here tonight to try and stay out of the calamity. We know it can happen anywhere on the track, but, you know, just to get that track position at the end probably helped a ton, didn't it?
It did. You know, we were up front in the beginning there, and then I kind of made some bad mistakes tonight and caused one of the yellows by revving it up too much coming out of 2. But we got back up there, and then all those yellows helped us. I was getting guys on the restarts on the bottom and just able to power off. I don't know if my tires were better or just getting the car straighter than they were, but that last little section there, I was able to nip a car at a time. And you know, unfortunately, me and Rob, I'm not really sure what happened there going into 3. I'm gonna have to go back and look at the replay, but yeah, it worked out well.
Yeah, that it did, Steve, and walking away with second. You mentioned before that, you know, causing a yellow with that tire spin off of turn number 2. That seemed like a very tricky spot, especially on new cold tires. I mean, what made it so difficult? We saw many cars kind of jumping over the bumps and really hopping. Was that kind of the biggest thing, just avoiding those bumps and keeping that car underneath you?
Yeah, it's just the way the corner's angled, the way you come off, and you're on the gas and you're still turning the wheel. So if you just had a little bit too much wheel input in it, it's going to loop it. So just trying to really not give it too much gas while you're still turning was really kind of the trick there. And I just gave it too much on that one time through there and went around.
Yeah, very easy to do with these next-gen cars, and then once you get it sideways, absolutely zero side force with the bodies that they have on these race cars these days.
Yeah. They're pretty tough nowadays.
Yeah, that they are. Well, looking forward to the schedule. You know, a lot of 1.5 2-mile tracks ahead. How you feeling about kind of getting this kind of gauntlet to start the series done and over with, and maybe, let's say, some more predictable racetracks here coming up?
Yeah, I'm actually gonna miss the next 2 weeks. I'm moving from Vermont to Ohio, so I'm gonna miss Texas and I think Atlanta and those are 2 really good tracks for me. So I'll be back for it looks like Talladega, great, or Pocono it looks like. So that'll be the next race that we'll be in. And I like Pocono. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, so unfortunately, a relocation in the beginning of the season is not helping us points wise.
Yeah, that definitely makes a little bit of a mountain you got to climb, but luckily setting yourself up nicely, because I think coming out of here tonight, Steve, you're walking away with the points lead, so you do get those 2 drop weeks, sadly going to ones that you have to miss, but that just means you have to keep up this consistent run, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep doing that. So.
Alrighty, Steve. Well, before we let you go and celebrate this runner-up finish here, I'm going to go hand over the mic to you and thank who you got to thank on this 16 machine here tonight.
Yeah, obviously everybody on the team on Wolfpack, you know, Johnny, Dave, Nick, Rob, obviously, all of those guys. BG Graphics, Turn 3, obviously, you guys do a great job. GStone Motors, I know I'm missing somebody. TDL Customs. They do a great job with the paint jobs and stuff like that. So just want to thank those guys. They keep everything going and let us finish up front.
And that you have been doing, Steve. So you have yourself a great rest of the night, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you after your little hiatus.
Sounds good. Thank you, Brett.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Steve. That was Steve Ritter finishing in P number 2. Now we'll head down to Victory Lane and talk to the man of the hour. It is Christian Delgado. Christian, do you got a copy? It's Brett the Jet in the booth here.
Yeah, I got you, Brett.
Alrighty, man. How are we feeling picking up win number 2 of your career with the 802? And not an easy one to win here at North Wilkesboro, especially with all those restarts.
No, it was definitely chaotic. I was talking to Johnny and talking to Steven before they got dragged in. And yeah, the first part of the run was super tricky for me. I just couldn't figure out how to keep the tires on underneath the car. And yeah, that's well, I thought it was super cool to have like that first 71 laps or whatever it was, getting to really see who had the pace at the end on the long run there. But yeah, we pitted with 50 laps to go there, and I think with the winning move was we just beat Rob off pit road and gave us better track position to get around some of those guys who stayed out when we pitted. And I don't know what happened, if maybe the racing gods were in my favor, but as soon as we took the lead, everybody just started wrecking each other. So I guess we got lucky there. I mean, we really didn't have to race for it at all. We'd run a lap, get a caution, run a lap, get a caution. I think we're really under caution since lap 185. But yeah, I would have loved to race for it. I know Rob was super quick, Steve, Johnny, all these guys who were kind of up in the top 5 all race, I felt were well capable of coming and taking this win away from me. But I guess unlucky for them and lucky for me, they kept wrecking and kept giving me opportunities to kind of pace the field here. And, it's super hard to have a good start on the outside here at Wilkesboro, especially with the restart zone. We were kind of told whenever the pace car goes, you can go. So it was kind of really in the favor of the leader here. So I think that's what really helped me get up here and hold the lead off here for these last, couple of restarts here. But yeah, props off to Rob. We were racing each other, really hard, but also really clean throughout the whole race. And, I had a lot of fun racing with him tonight.
Yeah, you guys put on some great racing. Like you said, even though only kind of one lap shootouts, you did everything in your power that you needed to do right, and kind of nailed it on the head. Because let's say could have went bad. We saw a little bit of wheel spin by a couple drivers on the restarts. Luckily, you kind of mixed up your restart zone and restart timing, and of course kept those rear tires underneath you. And I guess that was kind of the key there at the end. Of course, like you mentioned, beating Rob off pit road, and then those tires pretty much stayed brand new for the rest of the race.
Yeah, that's a great point. Is the tires? I mean, with all the cautions and stuff, it was basically we're on stickers. Basically, I mean, we came in here, we ran maybe a 10 lap run, maybe if that, and then we just had those cautions. But yeah, Robin was talking to me over the radio, told me I was doing good with the restarts. But yeah, I knew that I had to switch it up because I knew sooner or later he would figure out what I was doing and make something happen if I kept doing the same thing. And he almost kept it side by side on one of those restarts. And if you're side by side going in 1 and 2, the top is really powerful here in 1 and 2 here at Wilkesboro. But yeah. That's what we did. I learned a hard way in another league that you cannot restart first, at least for me, on these restarts without spinning the tires and potentially wrecking yourself out. So I was, being a little bit more cautious, and I just kept it in second on these restarts. And, as we saw, kept the tires under me for all the restarts, and could get a good jump on Rob and just keep it out in front before that next yellow came out.
Yep, and that's exactly what you did. An awesome job at that here tonight, Christian. So kind of looking in the future and kind of season-long total season points, didn't have the first two races that you wanted. A win here tonight probably changes a lot of things. How's it changed the outlook, and how are you looking forward to some more traditional racetracks with a lot of mile-and-a-halfers here in the near future?
Yeah, I'd say the mile and a halfs are more my bread and butter here. I mean, I think I'm okay at the short tracks. Granted, me coming here and winning, but yeah, Daytona, not the race we wanted. There was like a weird scoring glitch with the big one at the end, and I think I was supposed to finish like P11 or 12, but with damaged cars not getting able to get back to the line, I guess I got a penalty or whatever. And then Dover, I was just having some computer issues. I was gonna message Rob because I joined the session literally a minute late. I was 1 minute late. Is when my computers figured out it wanted to actually cooperate with me. But I was gonna message Rob to see if he would maybe make a new session, but I didn't think that would have been fair for all the drivers and stuff, even if he would. So, but yeah, super thankful we could come out here and win, and hopefully we can come out here and maybe contend throughout the rest of the season here.
Yeah, you do get 2 drop weeks, so it sounds like definitely using one last week and maybe one for a Daytona. But first interview of the season, I always like to ask Christian what the drivers are using for their sim setup in front of him. What do you got for wheels, pedals, and maybe what are you looking at?
Yeah, of course. So back in I think it was 2023, maybe 2022, I got that Fanatec CSL DD bundle.
Yep.
That came with the 5 Newton meter wheel, what I think it's called the rally rim or something, and then back in 2021 I actually bought myself a pair of the CSL Club Sport V3s. So that's what we're rocking for wheel and pedals. I'm sitting in a Track Racer TR. I think it's a 180. So haven't had an issue with it. And then we're rocking triple 21-inch 1080p monitors with an overhead for streaming and stuff like that, or watching broadcast as I race. And then I also have I think it's a Kindle Fire or something like that I have hooked up with SimHub for a dash. And yeah, have a little keyboard tray. But yeah, that's about it. Fanatec and Track Racer family here. So
nice, some good line of products there, and sounds like a pretty stellar sim setup for you here, Christian. So always love to kind of see what people are running, and always appreciate the insight. Well, Christian, before we let you go and continue to celebrate your first win of the season, I got to hand you the mic one last time here and thank who you got to thank down in Victory Lane here from North Wilkesboro.
Yeah, first of all, I have to thank all the guys over at SimMotion and SimMotion Racing, John, Ron, all those guys over there, Levi, and all the guys over there with the SimMotion guys. Go use code 802 for 5% off your order over at simmotionus.com. Super great group of guys, and I'd highly recommend going over there and supporting their stuff. They have a great amount of products that you can go from. I have to give a huge shout out to Track Racer. Also, go use code BOSS if you want to help support me and my racing stuff. I do get some commission from that, so I will be pretty transparent with that. But obviously, Track Racer, I love all their stuff. Got to give a huge shout out to Bullet Coffee Company. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Patrick, for everything you do here and allowing me to do what I want and putting your name on my stuff. Got to give a huge shout out to Delta Eagle Paints for all the painting he does for my cars. Andreas, you do a hell of a job with the paintwork and everything else. Got to give a huge shout out to Steel Car Detailing. Thank you, Titan, for all you do. Huge shout out to the Bean Team. Thank you, Jeff, Poppy, Sully, Jackson, Peter, Levi, all those guys over there for making me the best person I can and making me a better driver, better person, just a better human being. And lastly, got to give a huge shout out to the people over at twitch.tv/ChristianBoss13. Wouldn't be doing this probably without them, cheering me on and motivating me to be my best here, not only in the sim, but as a streamer and a person. Got to give a huge shout out to the admins and everybody who runs the league, Rob, and all the people who run this league over at 802. At least I do appreciate all the work that they've done to get the wheels turning. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. But lastly, Brett, we gotta give a huge shout out to you, man, for putting on this great show and putting the broadcast on. As a broadcaster myself, I know how difficult and how tiresome it can be sometimes to come out here and put stuff on, especially if there was a low car count and stuff like that. Which luckily we didn't have tonight. But yeah, gotta give a huge shout out to you. Definitely couldn't do it without you. But lastly, we'll give a huge shout out to High Velocity TV. If you guys a little self plug. If you guys are looking for any broadcasts besides Brett and all the guys over at 2 and 3 Racing Network, all you guys do a heck of a job. But if you guys are looking for a broadcast primarily on the asphalt side, go ahead and email us over at hvtvbroadcasting@aol.com. But yeah, once again, just super excited about this win and can't wait to go race for potentially some more.
Awesome. I have a feeling, Christian, we'll be talking to you a lot more before this season is over. So once again, huge congrats on the win here tonight. I'll go let you celebrate, but you, my man, have yourself a great rest of the night.
Yeah, you too, buddy.
Alrighty, folks, that was Christian Delgado down in Victory Lane picking up his first win of the season. And with Christian there, you heard it, a long list of names to thank to get the job done, and that's what racing's all about. It's not a one-man effort. It's at least maybe that in the car, but even then, a lot of decisions going on, a lot of teamwork to be had. So awesome to hear from Christian picking up his first win of the season. Congrats to that 31 team. So we'll get things wrapping on up here and try and go over tonight's finishing results as Christian Delgado picks up the win here tonight at the Whiskey Still 200 at North Wilkesboro. Steve Ritter finishing second. Johnny Barker rounding out the top three. Finishing in P number 4 is the 93 of Robert Denton. And rounding out the top 5 will go to Stephen Holmes in the number 90. Finishing P number 6 will be the 4 Jim Ott. 7th going to Eli Raposa in the 46. 8th will go to car 8 of Matthew Taylor. Finishing 9th will be the 81 of Dan Dillon. Rounding out the top 10 will go to the 1 of Brandon Guerin. Finishing P number 11 will be Jason Wiley in the 13. Then it is Justin Branningham in the 58, finishing 12th. 13th going to Eric Holly. 14th is Dustin Coggins. And rounding out the top 15 will go to Chris Taylor. 16th will be Jeff Pogo. 17th, Ariba Canton. 18th is Rob Lowell. 19th, Caleb Hart. And rounding out the top 20 is Nick Larson. 21st, David Lomaga. 22nd, Frank Zingen. 23rd is Cody Brewer. And finishing out the field here tonight is Austin Smith. So want to give a huge shout out to all you guys in the YouTube watching live. Appreciate all you guys. Appreciate all the replay viewers coming on back on board. Got to give a big shout out to Glenn and Lillian out there in the YouTube chat lands. Of course, got to give a shout out to the drivers out on track putting on the show for all of us to enjoy. The admins making the tough calls and putting in the work behind the scenes. And of course, this series sponsors. That of course being Riptide Radio, the sounds of the salt, sand, and sea from Ocean Drive in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Also, other sponsors that make this series happen. Of course, Leaf Guard coming on board. Leaf Guard of Vermont coming on board with the QuickTime Award. Also, BG Graphix helping out with the purse for the top 10 in points. So, all that. And, of course, our partnership here at Turn 3 Racing Network with Premier Setups. Be sure to check out the link in the broadcast. That will take you over to Premier Setups, even if you're not looking for paint. I should say a wrap. They got all sorts of cool stuff, including paint, video edits, and a lot of cool other stuff. So be sure to click the link. That will let them know that we sent you. Show them that we know we are supporting each other. Would be greatly appreciated from myself and the rest of the Turn 3. Speaking about the rest of Turn 3, be sure to tune in throughout the week as we have a lot of great racing action, a lot of great series to cover, and of course, some of the best sim announcing. Everyone, take care. Hopefully you had a great holidays. Thanksgiving wrapped on up. Now we look towards Christmas here at the end of this month. So everyone take care, stay safe, and we will catch you 1 week time for Texas. I've been Brett the Jet in the booth, and I just flew by you. Have a good one.